Hey! I'm Mega. Back before we had Discord or Twitter. Everyone uses a little application called PictoChat. Available on DS, DS Lite, DSi, DSi XL, and even a Nintendo 3DS if you're brave enough. Nintendo, I installed PictoChat on my new Nintendo 2DS XL. Please let me live. I still need to talk about maths training.
PictoChat, the fun I've had with this little app. Making it start in 2004. Making it start in 2006. It was so handy just to get friends on and send little doodles to each other, even text or other symbols if you wanted to. I've always loved the little versions of the PictoChat logo. These symbols are so small, yet so special, just like each of my sight training cartridges. As said before, literally any DS model out there has PictoChat, either just there or pre-installed. Now, it isn't on the 3DS officially, but using the hack system you can download the DSi PictoChat app, which functions like the DSi app.
Who would have guessed?
Rainbow pen and all. This is great! But I pirated PictoChat. I don't think the Wii U Club wants me anymore.
That's a lot of talk for someone not even in chat room C. Best change that. Now I can talk more.
Upon joining a chat room, you're met with UI.
That's what I love about PictoChat. Surprise!
On the top screen, there's a PictoChat banner with all the messages being under it, including the entry message. On the top left there's the connection strength, which, depending on your distance from each DS, isn't always strong. What do you mean it has a low signal strength? It even has a little letter icon for which chat room you're in. I love it!
I love how PictoChat blends with touchscreen and buttons in a great way. Including on the original DS was a great idea to show how the hardware can be utilised well, although PictoChat was mostly used in other models.
Using the stylus, you can press the keys to type a message if you'd prefer it to be clear as to what you're saying, or if you've lost the stylus, the D-pad works too. All buttons are used, A sending a character you select with the D-pad, B works as a backspace, X toggles between shift, caps lock, then returns to normal, Y goes between the different screens of other symbols, including letters used in other languages, Japanese symbols, then just text symbols, and finally special symbols, such as the aforementioned PictoChat logo alterations. You unfortunately cannot adjust the size of these, but you can either tap to send them in a row, or drag them from the keyboard to anywhere inside of a message box. It's super cool for even pixel art.
The other day I had PictoChat up on 3 of my DS's, and I was just mesmerised sending doodles of words between all 3. I spent half an hour doing that.
While I do have a DS Lite too, I'm not sure where the charger is, although it does have a tiny bit of charge left in it. The DS Lite had PictoChat too, although, like everything else about the system's UI, it was unchanged from the original DS. The DS Lite was only really different physically, though this did mean that you really didn't lose out on anything the original had, minus the sticking out GBA games.
It's more of a plus though, really. I want everyone to know I'm playing Mario Kart Super Circuit, damn it!
It was only when we came to the next DS system that PictoChat saw an update, the DSi. I've always loved the system, specifically the XL, though I'll save my whole thoughts about it for when I plan on talking about the DSi. On the DSi menu, scrolling 3 icons across takes you to PictoChat. It even has a little animation of the logo talking, spinning around and blushing. It has so much charm. Booting it up. This is DS footage. Yeah, at first DSi PictoChat is identical to DS PictoChat.
But hold your copy of Brain Training.
Because they're different, I swear. They're different, I swear. Rainbow.
The Rainbow pen is quite literally the only difference between the DS and DSi versions of PictoChat. An online forum said that if it's your birthday on the DS or DS Lite, you could use a rainbow pen, but it's not true, it's not even a thing!
The rainbow pen becoming an option in DSi is so weird to me. Was it there to show off the power of the DSi?
No.
I do have a theory of my own as to why it's here, though. My thinking is that the rainbow pen was in development for using the original form of PictoChat, the one in the DS and DS Lite, but was scrapped in the end due to a lack of time and probably a need to focus more on the other aspects of the DS. Since the DS Lite had no extra processing power over the original, the rainbow pen remained as technically inside of the original PictoChat, although inaccessible by a user. However, with the DSi, someone at Nintendo saw the chance to finally add this rainbow pen to the version of PictoChat pre-installed on the system. This would explain why it was only on the upgraded DS that we saw the rainbow pen, and as to why the old DSs can still receive rainbow messages, just not write them.
Actually, if you're patient enough, you can actually send a unique rainbow message on DS. Just get a DSi friend to send you a block of rainbow, then do a little of this, a little of that, and boom!
Once the 3DS rolled around, Nintendo was moving away from PictoChat. It wasn't and isn't pre-installed on any 3DS system, although that doesn't mean it's inaccessible. Using a hacked system, you can install the DSi version of PictoChat as an app in your home menu, which just works if it's officially pre-installed, as you can connect to other DSs, just like the DSi or XL. Nintendo did officially do some PictoChat-inspired projects, with SwapNote on the 3DS being a big one, even allowing image sharing, but that was... yeah. Later, SwapDoodle was made available, which felt almost like an expanded PictoChat mixed with FlipNote, allowing you to draw more extensively and share your doodles to friends, not only locally, but also online using SpotPass.
I actually used this as texting before.
It was essentially SwapNote without images, so I'm not sure why it required a whole new app. There's also Miiverse, sort of taking the idea of quick little doodles in a rectangle, and dragging the symbols in PictoChat could have inspired stamps in Miiverse. Miiverse was shut down at the end of 2017 though, which was a huge shame as I never got to experience it myself.
That might have been for the best though, actually.
You may be expecting me to now say something like, although PictoChat was mostly left on the DS and DSi, I used it so much that I'll always miss it. Although, that isn't the full story. Me and my sister used to play around with it a bit together, although we usually ended up playing a game in the time we had anyway. I definitely have had a decent amount of experiences with PictoChat, but it wasn't something that I used all the time. Although, it did lead on to FlipNote Studio, which is almost just like PictoChat, but it's slower to send your friends your doodles as you're sending a whole flipbook rather than just a message. I did use FlipNote a ton when I was little though, just not PictoChat as much. I would find it cool if a similar local based thing came to the Switch or modern Nintendo hardware, which would include online as an option too, to modernise the idea. Overall, PictoChat was a great, fun little application which I'd love to see brought back in some way.
But in the symbols menu, there's no characters with a start and select button, so PictoChat sucks.